Hello guys, welcome to this another video, and in this video we are going to see a game of Jacob Aagard who was playing with white pieces in 2003, and in this game how Aagard went on to win this game to defeat his strong opponent Grandmaster who played Scandinavian Defense, and his opponent actually played after the game that he was trying to do something new with the opening, so he played Scandinavian, but Aagard was very much shocked that his opponent played Scandinavian. But that's not the point. We will see that how White managed to solve the problem, opening problem positionally, and then his White strategic thinking and the tactical point, and the more important, the calculation skill at the later on was much more superior than Black's all the other skills. So how went on to win this game? It's kind of a very instructive game. So stay with me till end. Okay, we'll see some critical moments as well as we'll analyze the game much more deeply. So e4, white played, Aagard played e4, d5, e d5. We all know this is Scandinavian defense, and the main line is obviously the best move queen into d5 according to the theory. But black played knight to f6, d4, knight d5. There are many options are possible. Even you can play knight f3, knight c3. Okay, but yeah, d4 is simply it's equally good. Knight into d4, knight into d5, knight f3. uh, this is kind of harmless opening, but it gives white a better chance of getting a better chance of better game, right? And whenever you are confronting with a sideline such as Scandinavian defense, even strong player often play too cautiously. Therefore, do not get all the advantage they could, but on the other hand, they avoid walking into some sort of traps and snowstorms, blurring tactics. Okay, while just securing as good as chances for an advantage. And here g6 played. Okay, bishop e2, uh, c4 may be objectively better, kind of transposing into kind of some sort of Alekhine defense. But yeah, bishop e2, bishop g7, castle, c4, knight b6, knight c3, and main theory was definitely to play knight to c6. I can see there are lots of games played in the knight c6 line, but yeah, c6, black played with c6. Theory recommends with knight c6, d5, knight d5, simply take, and after this situation, white is a little bit better, though it is nothing special. So black played c6. Okay, and when white is confronting this kind of moves, okay, he should not be in a hurry. He should play the game calmly. What is the main point? He's trying to play this or this. Okay, and maybe stopping d5 idea, trying to put more pressure on this d4 square. So white calmly played h3, so avoiding everything, all the defense. Okay, he defended. You cannot come and take this pawn and make sorry, take this knight and to make this pawn weak. My bishop is firmly protecting the c4 square also. I'll not have to move. And now there is a moment. It was very important to play bishop to e6. It is the correct move order. Okay, and in the theory it is also given that bishop e6 was very important move to play. Okay, and then b3 is there, b3, bb2. Okay, and white has played multiple games are there. I can see Alexander Indrich has played, Alexander Skapnis has played, then Kaminsky has played this game. Okay, many 2400, 2500, even 2600 players has also played this line. So, but black has played knight 8 d7, and very surprisingly, this is a mistake in the opening. And the most surprising thing is that this is the second most played move in this position according to my database. So that means the first choice was bishop a6, which is the correct one, and the second choice, which is played knight 8 d7, is actually a wrong move. Okay, and badly placed pieces is the main problem for black in this point. Okay, black slowly, the more point is that knight 8 d7 is more or less decisive mistake, because the knight has no real function on f6 actually. What the knight is doing on f6, it is not going to e4, it is not going to g4. So where your knight is better placed? Okay, definitely it is not a better placed on this f6 f6 square. A better idea definitely was to bring the bishop first, put some more pressure and keep the knight. Maybe later on you could bring the knight to from here and try to put more pressure on the d4 square. That was more strategic. So knight d7 played by black. White played bishop f4. White was just playing natural movement, knight f6. And now there is a big problem with this move. The point is this knight is going nowhere, and white gain an excellent control over the e5 square. So now white's approach is very very simple. I'm going to play queen d2. I'm going to play simply maybe rook a d1, rook f1, and bishop f1. And white, he is having excellent position. His all pieces are active. He's having better center control. And I don't know, black is going to suffer for the long time. So this moment, white has played a4. Okay, uh, and a4. Aagard actually said in the game in the analysis that it was a great surprise to my opponent that his position after a4 is close to being strategically lost, which is a big comment. But he said this position is strategically lost for black, and also he extended his annotation that but to me it felt very logical. He had played a passive opening system and wasted two moves on an operation of cosmetic character, that beyond the aesthetic nature of the knight maneuver to f6 there is nothing, no function of the move, no nothing. So he mentioned clearly that this knight maneuvering to f6 was not doing anything, and after a4 a5 is coming, maybe a6 is also coming, and he's saying that the position is very passive for black and it is strategically lost. Black played bishop to e6 and he said black has no more good moves to anymore. Queen b3. This was the main idea of white, ready to play a5 or maybe rook f1. I'm going to play later on, maybe queen c8. Now a5 doesn't make any sense. It is protected, sorry, it is protected here. So rook f1, another important, because a5 seems to be very tempting, but after knight b d7 d5, there is initiative in the center, but question is it too soon to go for this operation? I believe it is. So rook f1, h6 played, bishop comes to h2. Okay, bishop was not guarded on the f4 square, so it brings back. Maybe some knight h5 can hit this bishop. So rook d8 played, rook sc1, g5, and now this idea is not that much strong, because again we can see that this structure is very passive, that what the pieces are doing actually, these pieces are having no good square. You are threatening to play some sort of g4 maybe, but now critically thinking, white's attack is, or the strategical point is much more faster. So white plays immediately a5. There is no reason now to hesitate this kind of move, and white is clearly better and having no obvious way of improving the position anymore for white, because white has already improved the position to his maximum. So it's time for the fight. Knight b d7, d5, and now it comes with a on the right moment, and now it is not, I would not say that it is premature, it is on the time. Bishop f5, knight d4, knight c5, attacking the queen. Okay, queen a3, and there was a miscalculation. Why it was a miscalculation? So the point is knight a6, and after um, 1 minute, yes, after knight a6, queen e7, white is having an extra pawn, and his advantage is clearly obvious that d6 is coming. But the point is after knight b4, knight d3 does not look that much good, because of I will take on f5, knight into b4, knight e7, king f8, knight c8, rook a c8, d6, knight d7, and rook a d1. White, even rook a d1, white still wins with the extra pawn on the screen. So queen a3 played, and the position should not be difficult, okay, at this moment for white to convert, but yes, it was kind of a dubious moment. Knight fe4, knight into e4, knight into e4, queen e3. And white is still putting much more pressure in this game for black's position. Yes, the 5 bishop is hanging. Okay, I'm not caring about this b2 pawn anymore. Okay, in this moment again, knight f5, queen f5, it was not a good idea to play in this way, because after cd5, cd5, knight d2 is there, and I'm going to take this bishop, and it is not clear that how white is going to improve the position. So after queen e3, bishop g6 played, and bishop f3. This is another accurate move. Black was planning for f5, f4. So bishop f3 played, c5, knight b5, f5, ready to play f4, g4, and after this correct movement, once white has played g4, this position is completely dubious for black, and I would say that extremely bad position. His center knight on e4 is not going to be stay on the e4 square for long time, because it's going to be undermined very easily, and white wants this e7 pawn, and he's going for this kill. So at this moment black played f4. It was a time travel and a bad position, and black made the mistake. It seems that okay, I'm locking this bishop, but actually nothing is happening. After queen d3, a6, knight c3, again knight a3 was much better way to go ahead. Even after bishop d2, I will simply play bishop into e4, and this is this win is even easier. So knight c3, knight into c3, queen into g6, knight a4. Okay, it was a mistake, last mistake during the time pressure. Obviously rook d6 you can play, but still after queen h5, white is having a winning position. Knight a2, rook e7. I'm not caring about this a2 rook. I'm simply threatening queen f7 and queen g7 checkmate. Queen f8, rook e1, and black cannot defend himself. h4 is simply coming, and after that the bishop will be free, and this is completely lost. But what black has played just gives a spot resignation after rook e7. And now there is no defense against this checkmate. Queen f7 is also checkmate threat, and at this moment black has resigned. So we have seen that how a passive opening destroys black's entire hope in the middle game, and Aagard played beautifully with the strategical point of view a4 a5, also then grab the space in the center d4 d5 later on after removing the knight, then played with g4 undermining the e4 knight, and then the furious kingside attack, and there was no defense left for black. Thank you for watching. If you are new in my channel, kindly subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye bye.